So thank you for the invitation. And today let's talk about the future of AI. My name is Luis. I am a Microsoft MVP in AI and developer technologies. I am from Mexico, although currently I am living in Czech Republic. I am pursuing my PhD in engineering informatics at Thomas Bata University in Zlín. Actually, my thesis topic is about artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and emotion detection. Here you have my contact details in case you would like to discuss these topics or something that piques your interest, mainly mobile application development. I work with Xamarin a lot. All right. So very recently, 3 days ago, Gartner announced the top 12 strategic technology trends that organizations need to explore in 2022, next year. And well, after reading this, I found that, well, this could be very good topic to discuss through the keynote. We will focus on two elements, which are generative AI and AI engineering, because, well, yeah, they fit with our today's topic, artificial intelligence. You can see that there are some categories. We can talk about accelerating growth and sculpting change and what they mean in today's world. So basically, sculpting challenge, where generative AI is means to release creative or to build new technologies solutions in different areas in order to accelerate organizations' digitalization. Basically, these trends respond to the increasing pace of change by creating applications that adapt to business activities or optimize artificial intelligence to make decisions faster but also smarter. And the accelerating growth is to capitalize strategic technology to unleash IT first into business to earn more profit or to win some market share. All right, so let's talk about generative AI. One of the most visible and powerful AI techniques coming to market. Basically, it refers to AI and machine learning algorithms that enable the use of existing content such as text, audio files, video, images, in order to create new content that makes sense. For example, you can see two images. The first one is Einstein's picture image, but what would it be if maybe Van Gogh created a portrait of Einstein, right? So yeah, we can generate this content. Also, maybe we have some text. This bird is red with white and has very short beak. And based on this description, maybe we have some model that produces an image, right? We can already create models, neural networks that detect or identify birds, but what would it be to produce content, right? Based on the knowledge that the neural networks, the models already have. That's why it is called generative AI. So these models allow computers to abstract the underlying pattern related to some inputs, maybe Van Gogh's drawing style, right? And then use it to generate similar content, realistic content, completely maybe original, correct? So there are several benefits that you can get from this type of artificial intelligence model or techniques. You can ensure the generation of output with high quality that and these models or this software maybe applies self-learning from different data sets. As such, you can also lower the risks associated with a project because you know or you can make sure that your outputs will be optimized. If we are talking about adaptive if we are talking about AI models that produce new output, we can say that reinforced machine learning is also important because it will learn how to be or to reduce the bias, right? Based on the feedback that we send to the model. Okay, for example, we are producing some item that let's say can get together some things or that can I don't know be optimized maybe to that applies some force to some products, right? And we can test it and say, okay, yeah, this version is much better than the previous one. We can provide this feedback. So the network, the model knows that it is working. Or maybe we get some bad feedback like, okay, the output was not the expected one. So it should learn from these mistakes and produce something better next time. You can even create some knowledge, for example, depth prediction without any sensor or reducing the usage of sensors. Then you will also reduce the cost, some costs. You can also apply deep fakes for good. So, for example, maybe we have some video of person talking in English, maybe me, I'm talking in English right now, but we can use this same content to produce the translated version in Spanish or in Hindi or in some other language, correct? And yeah, we can also allow robots or some software to comprehend abstract concepts and distinguish between simulation and the real world. You can consider several applications that come from these benefits that we explored. For example, you can use it for identity protection. Actually, generative AI is not something new at all. There is some progress in it, or there have been some models. But this generative AI can be used to create some avatars in order to protect the identity of people or maybe interviews that appear in news reports. For example, in some countries, the LGBTQ community is persecuted, so you can protect them if they appear on TV when they are providing some feedback or some comments. You can also use it for image processing to maybe create or upscale low resolution images to high resolution images. And one application could be in film restoration. You can see, for example, some video content on the left. Maybe this was produced without any color in black and white, but then you can create the color version, right? In order to maybe enhance or produce high quality content. You can also use it for audio synthesis in order to render or to produce artificial or neural voices, right? Maybe we have computer-generated voices, but this will not sound robotic. They will be similar to what humans, to human voice. Also, generative AI can be employed in healthcare to render prosthetic limbs, organic molecules, and maybe other items from scratch based on 3D printing or 3D models, right? Actually, regarding healthcare, for example, IBM is using this technology to research some peptide in order to find drugs for COVID-19, right? And you can even use it. There is popular example in terms of software coding. You have heard about Copilot. With Copilot, you can produce new software based on previous or historic data. It has its flaws, yes, it is learning, it is still in preview, but it's some work in progress that maybe in the future will allow you to do something as this very simple example. Okay, I want to create a neural network that processes images. Then you will get the code, maybe a template or even full program that solves this problem, that creates the neural network and takes the data from some specific folder, and you get the information or the expected outcome, right? So yeah, these are small steps in order to create something bigger. Gartner expects that in 3-4 years, generative AI will be responsible for producing around 10% of data that is being generated today. Today, generative AI creates 1% of data, and you know that every minute, millions of data is generated in social networks, in communication technologies such as WhatsApp, right? But so imagine 10%, we are talking about millions also of data. But be careful. Generative AI makes it possible for machines, for software, to create new content effectively. But there are also some limitations and misuses. For example, it can be hard to control. Some of these generative AI, such as the GANs, generative artificial neural networks, are still unstable and maybe hard to control based on behavior. Sometimes we don't get the expected output. Sometimes it can be hard to figure out why. Also, generative AI algorithms still need huge amounts of data to perform the task, to create entirely new things. It is not easy to produce the images that we saw earlier. What would it be if Van Gogh painted, I don't know, any of us or some famous person? They combine what they know in new ways. Yes, they are creative, but still there are some limitations. So it is still something that we can imagine. And well, finally, and this is most important, security. Hackers or malicious developers can use generative AI for the wrong purposes, such as scamming people, fraudulent activities, and even create fake news, right? We can simply combine some video, maybe of some president, some politician, and then we can have some actor saying bad words, right? The objective is to imitate the voice or the mouth motion, and put it into the real video. So what would it be if Obama say something, right? And since we can also create neural voices based on human voices, right? You can also create these fake audio versions. So yeah, we will talk about at the end of the presentation about the ethics and responsible AI. So we need to be careful. We also need to educate people or students that we should use AI for good. Okay, this will always be. It's as a famous movie says, with great power it comes great responsibility. Okay, and we can also talk about AI engineering and autonomic systems. IT leaders usually struggle to integrate AI within applications, sometimes wasting resources such as time and money on projects that maybe never reach or are put in production. Or sometimes, okay, you have your AI model, it's already running in production, but once it is released, it is static. It doesn't learn from what is happening in the world. It is not updated, right? It doesn't adapt. So AI engineering comes to fix that. It's a discipline, emergent discipline, focusing on developing tools, system, and process in order to enable real application of AI in real world, but also that learns from context, that adapts. The rise of availability of computing power and massive data sets that are being generated every week, month, they have led to the creation of new AI models and algorithms that can combine, integrate thousands of variables. So they can make decisions that create some impact. However, these capabilities work usually in controlled environments. They are difficult to replicate, to be validated in real world. We know that the world changes rapidly. Who could have figured out 1.5 years ago that we would be in this situation of COVID-19? We struggled to adapt ourselves as humans. Some, unfortunately, right, some companies could not adapt. Even in schools, universities, for some of them, it was easy to change everything to online environments using Teams, Zoom, or other software. But others have to think about a strategy, right? And even this software that I mentioned, Teams, Zoom, had its flaws at the beginning, especially in security. There were a lot of trolls who entered some meetings and started doing bad things there. So if we as humans struggle to adapt, same thing happens with AI. So we can think of some example of autonomic systems. Basically, they are self-managing software or physical that learn from environments. So this can be used as part of AI engineering. The autonomic behavior is something that already exists. It has recent deployments. in complex security environments. In the longer term, it is expected that it will be common in systems such as robots, drones, or manufacturing machines. And they can dynamically modify their own algorithms without any external software update. But still, yeah, they need to adapt, they need to learn, they take some time to learn the new rules, let's say, as we do as humans. So yeah, we can think about autonomous vehicle functions that they have a lot of sensors, cameras, so they can see or understand, okay, yeah, there are other cars, I should slow down, or the street is empty, I can accelerate a bit, there is a person coming, I should stop. It has to make a lot of decisions in real time. There is no time to waste. Even 1 second can make the difference, right? And it should always be aware of the surroundings. The same way we as humans in front of a car do, right? There is no time for distractions. But then maybe we have something that suddenly happens. How can self-driving cars be designed to function same effective way, but now during a hailstorm? Winter weather is problematic for cameras, for sensors. So autonomous cars that rely on this hardware should use something else maybe to perceive the world around them. So AI engineering, right, aims to provide frameworks, tools to proactively design AI systems that function in environments characterized by high degrees of complexity, ambiguity, and dynamism, as something that we just mentioned. Oh, sorry. Yes. So if we combine this framework, these techniques with strong AI governance, the operation of delivering AI will ensure the business value that we are providing. And of course, we will build something more robust, more secure, and more scalable, right? When we are talking about AI engineering, we should focus on humans, right? Our company should be responsible. Right? And as I said, I will mention this in 2-3 more slides later, but always when you build something about AI, think about other people, be inclusive. Your AI should be explainable, others should understand it. So this might be a bit difficult, or it might sound too complex. So how can we be part of AI development? Well, learn. That's the first recommendation. Nowadays, companies such as Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they are giving a lot of content for free. And here you have one of the links, curricula, that includes a quite complete quick start for machine learning. This one is included in the Keynote. So you can get all this content for free. It is aimed for students that don't have any previous experience in machine learning, so it goes step by step, right? At your own pace. You can check the content, you can learn, you can even get some virtual machines to test it for free. AI is the future, and we should, or it would be good if we are part of it, if part of the deployment or development of it. We can all be part of it, even to understand how AI works. If you are more developer, you can also integrate artificial intelligence in your business solutions. There are services such as cognitive services provided by Microsoft, by Azure. You don't need to be AI expert to use them as part of your business solution. I always consider or say that cognitive services takes the complexity of AI and simplify it, because these models are already trained by Microsoft, for example. And this AI problem is now a developer problem, in the sense that we should prepare an HTTP request in any language, C#, Python, PHP. It's up to you, right? You send some post request to an HTTP endpoint. Maybe you send a picture, and the model can describe it for you, or can identify some brands, or it can perform some operations such as OCR, optical character recognition. Maybe I can send this slide. I take a screenshot, I send it to the service, and the service will tell me the words, right? The text that is detected inside, to create maybe an application that everyone can see. Maybe we can combine it with text to speech, right? So a blind person can understand what is happening. So just as a conclusion, as I said, AI is quite powerful, and we should consider to be responsible also in what we build. We have to be fair. The goal of AI must be there should be no bias in predictions provided by the models, in order to avoid cultural denigration or underrepresentation or overrepresentation. Our models should also be reliable and safe. We need to make sure that systems that we develop are consistent with our design ideas, values, and principles, so they don't harm anyone in the world. Also, they should be secure and respect the privacy. Complexity is part of these AI systems. We know that more data is needed, so the software needs to ensure that the data is protected, neither leaked nor disclosed. AI models should be inclusive. They should empower and engage people, making sure that no one is left out. If you are building a face recognition application, consider all races. Train your model with examples of many races, genders, so the full spectrum of communities is covered. Your AI should also be transparent. It means that people who create AI systems should be open about how and they use this AI. They should also understand the limitations, and they should be understandable. Other people should be able to understand the behavior of your AI, to be transparent. And finally, accountability. We need to define best practices and processes that AI practitioners can follow across, such as commitment to fairness or the other principles that we mentioned, as part of the full AI life cycle. So I hope that this presentation was a good experience for you. Thank you for your attention. Enjoy the rest of the event. And if you have any question, feel free to ask. I don't want to take time of next speaker, so I can also reply in chat. So again, thank you for your attention, and Yeah, good luck.